Hi, hola! Welcome to Madrid, the city of sunshine, art and royal elegance. Here, every square, every neighborhood and every museum tells its own story. In Madrid, the past meets the present, and art isn't confined to museum walls. It spills out into the streets, the architecture, the sounds, and the vibrant colors of everyday life. Today, we'll explore the city from that very perspective. We'll follow in the footsteps of artists, stroll through royal galleries, and uncover the details that shape the unique spirit of Spain's capital. We promise it will be beautiful, inspiring, and ambitious, especially if you decide to tackle it all in just one day. Treat this walk as a source of inspiration, whether you're looking for a ready-to-go plan for today or a future itinerary. While each of these extraordinary museums can be explored in just an hour or two, we know from experience, every single one deserves a full day on its own. You'll find the complete route and full description on our website. And if you enjoy discovering cities this way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, so you won't miss upcoming walks through Europe's most stunning destinations. Now let's begin a truly special journey. Strolling through Madrid, the extraordinary Art Triangle. We begin our journey right in the heart of the city, at Puerta del Sol. This is where the metro lines converge, where the city pulses with its life, and where all distances in Spain are measured from the symbolic Kilómetro Zero. We talked about this spot during our first walk through Madrid. And today, we're setting off from here once again, but this time in the opposite direction. We head down Calle de los Jerónimos towards a world of art, reflection and inspiration. Before we reach the first corner of Madrid's famed Art Triangle, the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum, let's pause at one of the most important political buildings in Spain. On the left side of the street, by the Plaza de las Cortes, stands the monumental Congress of Deputies, Congreso de los Diputados, home to the lower house of Spain's parliament, known as the Cortes Generales. Built in the mid-19th century, the building was designed from the outset to embody a modern, constitutional Spain. Its neoclassical facade, with its columns and imposing pediment, is adorned with a relief by Ponciano Ponzano, depicting Spain accepting the Constitution. The building was meant to evoke an ancient temple, a symbol of stability and the rule of law. Two bronze lions guard the entrance, cast from cannons captured during the war in Africa in 1860. These are more than just decorative elements, they carry a strong national message. While the interior is only accessible by invitation or with a pre-booked visit, it's worth stopping here for a moment to feel the atmosphere of Spanish democracy. And just across the street, partly hidden in the shade of the trees, stands one of Madrid's many monuments to Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote and the father of modern Spanish literature. His symbolic presence here reminds us that, like the spirit of parliamentarism, Cervantes' legacy still hovers over contemporary Spain. Just a few steps further along is a striking white building with a turret. The headquarters of the insurance company Plus Ultra. It may not make it onto most tourists' must-see lists, but its distinctive architecture catches the eye of passers-by. Designed in a modernist style with Art Deco elements, its standout feature is a carillon, a clock mechanism with bells that chimes daily at noon. And there's a meaning behind the name Plus Ultra as well. It's not a random choice. It's a Latin motto adopted by Emperor Charles V of the Habsburg dynasty, meaning further beyond. In the age of great geographical discoveries, it symbolized ambition, courage, and the drive to go beyond known boundaries. Values that defined 16th century imperial Spain. With that rich historical and cultural backdrop behind us, it's time to head toward the first great landmark of Madrid's Art Triangle, the Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum. Thyssen-Bornemisza Museum housed in the elegant 18th century Villahermosa Palace, right on the Paseo del Prado. From the outside, it may appear more modest than its neighboring buildings, but inside it holds one of the most fascinating and personal art collections in Europe. The story of this place is above all a story of a family's passion for painting. Over generations, the Thyssen Barons, a German-Swiss family of industrialists and art collectors, built a remarkable collection spanning the entire history of Western painting, from medieval icons to 20th century expressionism. For years, these masterpieces were kept in private residences, including in Lugano, Switzerland. But in the 1990s, Baron Hans Heinrich Thyssen-Bornemisza, encouraged by his Spanish wife, Carmen, made the pivotal decision to first loan and eventually sell the collection to the Spanish state. It was one of the most important cultural decisions of that era and a symbolic complement to the neighboring Prado and Reina Sofía museums. Today you can admire works by Van Eyck, Dürer, Holbein, Caravaggio, Rubens, Rembrandt, Van Gogh, Gauguin, Kandinsky and Hopper, presented in a space that doesn't overwhelm, but rather invites quiet contemplation and a relaxed encounter with art. Importantly, the paintings are displayed in a way that's accessible to everyone. Bright, well-lit rooms, minimal text, and a thoughtful sense of rhythm and light. It's a museum for both seasoned art lovers and those just beginning their journey into the world of painting. Only have an hour? No problem. Just grab the museum's excellent audio guide, which will lead you along the most compelling path and help you soak in the spirit of this extraordinary journey through art history. As for us, though we'd love to linger, we're moving on. Before we reach the next highlight of Madrid's Art Triangle, the legendary Prado Museum, we'll take a brief detour, and for good reason. Ahead of us lies a walk along the city's most beautiful boulevard, the green monumental Paseo del Prado. It's more than just a pretty avenue, it's a historic spine of the city, dating back to the 18th century, when King Charles III, often called Madrid's best mayor, envisioned a grand boulevard that would combine greenery, science and culture. He called it the Salón del Prado, and his vision led to the creation of gardens, fountains, an observatory, hospitals, and eventually world-class museums. Today, Paseo del Prado is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site known as the Landscape of Light, celebrating the union of art, nature, and science in the very heart of the city. As we stroll under the trees, past marble benches and historic buildings, we feel Madrid's rhythm, grand and elegant, but never rushed. The walk culminates at Plaza de Cibeles, one of the most iconic and symbolic locations in the city. At its center stands the stunning Fountain of Cybele, the goddess of nature, fertility and life, who in Greek mythology rode a chariot pulled by lions. Today the fountain is more than a Baroque masterpiece. It's also where Real Madrid fans celebrate their victories, and where the city's history, politics, and passions intersect. Surrounding the plaza are four monumental buildings. The Bank of Spain, with its grand neoclassical facade, houses lavish interiors filled with historic detail. Its legendary vault is protected by a unique security system that floods the basement with water from a nearby canal in the event of a break-in. Atop the building sits a golden sphere, a striking feature symbolizing wealth and protection, perfectly in tune with the bank's mystic. The Buena Vista Palace, built in the late 18th century for the 13th Duchess of Alba, has served various military roles since 1847. Today it's the headquarters of the Spanish Army. The Linares Palace, completed in 1900s as a residence for the Marquises of Linares, is now home to Casa de América, a cultural center dedicated to strengthening ties between Spain and Latin America. The most spectacular of all is Palacio de Cibeles, also known as the Palace of Telecommunications, though locals often refer to it with a smile as the wedding cake. Covering nearly 323,000 square feet, it was built on part of the former gardens of Buen Retiro and officially opened in 1919 as Madrid's main post office. Today it serves as City Hall and a cultural venue, complete with a rooftop terrace offering stunning views of the city. Inside, visitors are greeted by stained glass ceilings and elegant marble staircases. Interestingly, the building was declared a historic landmark even before it ceased its function as a post office, a testament to its architectural significance. At Plaza de Cibeles, the city's main arteries intersect. It's the heart of Madrid. But today, our artistic heart beats for art. So we move on. From Plaza de Cibeles, we veer gently to the right, returning to Paseo del Prado. And in just a moment, on the left-hand side, we pass a building that often escapes tourists' attention, yet it certainly deserves it. The Museo Naval, or Naval Museum. Modest on the outside, but rich in content, the museum tells the story of Spain as a maritime power, from the days of Columbus to the 20th century. Inside you'll find maps, ship models, navigational instruments, uniforms, and dozens of artifacts linked to the expeditions that changed the course of history. The museum's greatest treasure is the Juan de la Cosa map from the year 1500, considered the oldest known depiction of both Americas. It's a place where you can truly feel the spirit of explorers, people who sailed into the unknown with risk, courage, and a vision of a greater world. If you have a moment, it's worth stepping in, even for half an hour. It's a great break from paintings, and at the same time, an essential piece of Spanish identity. As we continue walking, it's impossible not to pause for a moment at the monument to the victims of May 2nd. It commemorates the tragic events of May 2nd, 1808, when the people of Madrid spontaneously took up arms against the French occupation. This day, known as the Madrid Uprising, marked the beginning of Spain's War of Independence against Napoleon's army. The monument stands near the very place where dramatic clashes occurred between civilians and well-armed French troops. It honors the victims, men, women and children, who were killed not only in street fighting, but also in the mass executions carried out by French soldiers the next day, on May 3rd. These events inspired Francisco Goya to create his famous paintings, the 2nd of May 1808, also known as The Church of the Mamelukes, and the 3rd of May 1808, which depicts the execution of Spanish patriots. Both masterpieces can be admired at Madrid's Prado Museum, where they remain among the most powerful testimonies of suffering and resistance against tyranny. And that museum is our next destination today. The Museo del Prado is one of the world's most important art museums, a source of pride for Spain and a true heart of classical European painting. The building we see today was designed in the 18th century by Juan de Villanueva, originally intended as a natural history cabinet. It was part of a broader transformation of this area of Madrid, from rural landscape into a grand royal urban space. Despite the changes, the old name remained, El Prado, the Meadow. In the 19th century, thanks to King Ferdinand VII and his wife Maria Isabel of Braganza, the building was given new life as the Royal Museum of Painting. Over time, it evolved into a national treasure trove of art, home to masterpieces by Velázquez, Goya, El Greco, Bosch, Titian, and many more. Much of the collection consists of former royal commissions, paintings that once adorned palaces, monasteries, and noble residences. These origins give the Prado its unique character, where political history and artistic genius intertwine. Before we step inside the museum from the Goya entrance, let's pause for a moment on the nearby hillside. Here stands San Jerónimo el Real, the last visible remnant of the now vanished royal monastery of San Jerome. For centuries, it was one of Madrid's most significant religious sites. The Catholic monarchs stayed here during visits to the city, and from 1528 until the 19th century, it was where Spanish kings took their oaths. The monastery was connected to the royal quarters, Cuarto Real, expanded under Philip II. These formed the foundation for the grand Buen Retiro Palace, built during the reign of his successor, Philip IV. Although the palace did not survive, partly destroyed during the Napoleonic invasion and later dismantled, its legacy endures. One of the few remaining structures from the original palace complex is, in fact, the Museo del Prado itself. In a way, walking through its halls is like tracing the footsteps of Spain's royal past. And now it's time to explore the Prado. You can begin your visit today or come back whenever you like. The recommended route takes about 2-3 hours and covers the museum's most iconic works. But that's just a glimpse, a brief look that can hardly satisfy true art lovers. After all, it's no secret that Madrid's Art Triangle is a place where one could easily immerse themselves for days. Whether you spend hours inside the Prado or simply admire its majestic facade from outside, our walk continues, though not necessarily today. Madrid is best savored slowly, and the next chapter of our journey awaits whenever you're ready to take the next step. From the Prado Museum, we naturally step right into the Royal Botanical Garden, a green oasis in the heart of Madrid. This historic garden, founded in the 18th century, delights visitors with a collection of over 5,000 plant species from around the world. While it isn't technically part of Madrid's Art Triangle, it's the perfect place to take a peaceful break among greenery after an intense encounter with art. We then continue along the Paseo del Prado, heading toward the final corner of the triangle, the Reina Sofía Museum. But before we get there, one of the most original and modern buildings in this part of the city is bound to catch your eyes: Caixa Forum Madrid. It's hard to miss. It hovers above the ground on massive rust-colored supports, seemingly suspended in mid-air. In its side wall is something truly unexpected: a vertical garden covered with thousands of plants that live, breathe, and change with the seasons. Caixa Forum is a center for contemporary art and culture, run by the foundation of one of Spain's largest banks, CaixaBank. The building itself is a former power station from the early 20th century. And here we are, the Museo Reina Sofía, the third corner of Madrid's Art Triangle. This is where our walk ends, but at the same time, it's where something entirely different begins. Art that doesn't tell stories of the past, but instead asks questions about the present and the future. The museum is housed in a former 18th century hospital, the Hospital General de Madrid, designed by the renowned architect Francesco Sabatini. For over 2 centuries, the building served as a healthcare facility before its transformation into a cultural space began in the 1980s. The museum officially opened at the Centro de Arte Reina Sofía in 1986, and in 1992, it was granted the status of a national museum. The renovation breathed new life into the historic walls. Sleek glass elevators were added to the facade, and the interiors were adapted to showcase contemporary art, creating bright and spacious galleries. This contrast perfectly reflects the spirit of the museum. Reina Sofía is a place of avant-garde, rebellion, and experimentation. Its most iconic work is, without a doubt, Guernica by Pablo Picasso, a massive black and white painting that screams without words. Painted in response to the bombing of the Basque town by Hitler's Air Force, Guernica stands as a universal symbol of resistance against war, violence, and the suffering of innocence. But that's not all. The museum also features work by artists such as Jean Miro, Salvador Dali, Juan Gris, Tapiz, and many other creators who pushed the boundaries of form and thought. Reina Sofía doesn't guide us chronologically. Instead, it throws us into a whirlwind of questions, emotions, and attempts to understand the modern world. It's a place that doesn't offer ready-made answers, but it can move you to the core. And that brings our journey through Madrid's Art Triangle to an end. 3 worlds, 3 perspectives, 1 city. We've walked from old masters, through royal collections, to the art that is still being made and that continues to move us. Thank you for joining us. If this walk inspired you, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next urban story. See you soon on another walk through the Spanish capital. Hasta pronto!